In the colorful hallway of Nancy Reagan High School, Wednesday ignores the mocking laughter of those around her and walks up to a locker covered in graffiti. She opened the locker and inside was her brother Pugsley. He was tied up and had an apple in his mouth. Pugsley did not know who had played a trick on him. While untying the rope, the sister felt the scene when her brother was tied up. She soon found the culprit, and the group was playing in the pool at the swimming pool. Wednesday arrives with 2 bags full of piranhas and puts them in the water with no expression on his face. Seeing the bully was bite ass, Wednesday's face finally showed a smile. But don't worry, Wednesday was not charged for this attempted murder, but was expelled from school. Her parents drove her to her new school, Nevermore Academy. It's a boarding school, and that's where the loving couple met. They soon met the principal, Larry Sabamus. She was her mother's roommate. From their conversation, we learn that Wednesday was not named for the fact that she was born on Wednesday, but for a favorite nursery rhyme of her mother's. A child born on a Wednesday is full of sorrow. Although the principal questioned Wednesday's schooling history, as she had changed schools 8 times in 5 years, she made an exception and accepted her to her mother's former dormitory. In her new bright and colorful dorm, Wednesday met her new roommate Enid, but she didn't seem to like her overly enthusiastic roommate. Enid gave Wednesday a tour of the college. The academy was founded in 1791 to produce freaks that no school would accept. But Wednesday interrupted her roommate's presentation. She didn't plan to stay at the academy for long because it was only her parents' arrangement to come here. But Enid introduced her to the school's 4 subgroups in the quadrangle: the Fangs, the Orcs, the Stoners, and the Phosphates. Fangs, also known as vampires, orcs, also known as werewolves, can be very noisy here during the full moon, and phosphorus people are sirens. That's when a boy, Gore, interrupted her and told a rumor about Wednesday at the academy. It's clear she's going to be the odd one out at this school again. Changing into her school uniform, Wednesday says goodbye to her family. Her mother told her not to run away as she was leaving, but instead, Wednesday told her escape plan straight away. Her mother gave her a necklace made of obsidian and a crystal ball. But just after her parents' car left, Gomez released the hand we are familiar with, and on the other side a hiker was beaten to death in the woods near the college. Similar to the other 2 cases, his body was scattered all over the jungle. Sheriff Donovan was interested in the case, and in the Nevermore College dormitory, Wednesday doesn't seem to be getting along very well with his roommates. One is full of energy and the other is a black and white gothic girl. Just as they're arguing, and Enid shows her werewolf claws and tries to attack, Marilyn, the resident teacher, shows up to stop the fight. She sets the rules: turn off the lights at 10 p.m. and never bring boys in. But traveling to the nearby town of Jericho is allowed, provided they don't kill anyone while they're asleep. The next day, Wednesday started the day at school. First, she is beaten by Bianca in the fencing class she excels in and slashes her forehead. While in the infirmary, she befriends Rowan, who has telekinesis. After walking out of the infirmary, a falling gargoyle almost hit her from a height, but Xavier saved her. It turns out that they already knew each other years ago. Xavier was hiding in a coffin at the time. When the coffin was about to be dragged into the fireplace, Wednesday found it in time to save him. At night in the dormitory, Wednesday found the hidden hand by the smell of hand cream. Under the threat of Wednesday, he swore allegiance to her and received his first assignment, which was to escape from the juvenile prison. Then Wednesday came to Dr. Kimbert for psychotherapy as promised. But this therapy doesn't seem to work for the cold-hearted girl, because her outlook on life is kill or be killed. Then Dr. Kimbert talked about the book Wednesday had written. Wednesday had mailed the book to her publisher, only to have the editor suggest she seek psychiatric treatment. So Wednesday sent her a gift. She thought she was going to the bathroom and escaped through a window and down a drainpipe to the first floor. On her way out, she ran into someone. In the moment of touching, she seemed to meet this person after the car accident will die. Without any means of transportation, she went to a coffee shop and asked Taylor, the barista, for help. She helped Taylor to fix the coffee machine. In return, Tyler agreed to drive her after work. But as she sat in her chair waiting, 3 men working at Pilgrim World picked on her in her school uniform. It seems that, as the resident teacher said, the people of this town are not friendly to Nevermore College students. But then Wednesday knocked them to the ground. The fight attracted Taylor's father, the sheriff, who had appeared earlier. But when the sheriff heard Wednesday's name, He called her father a murderer. Then Principal Larissa also found the place. Wednesday had no choice but to return to the college together. On the way back, she saw that the driver she had touched had indeed been in a car accident, just as she had met him. Then, in a cello performance by Wednesday, Rowan showed ability to find the old file of Wednesday's father Gomez. The sheriff looks over the murder investigation at blackboard. Resident teacher Marilyn feeding her cannibalistic flowers. Later, Enid and Wednesday share their troubles. It turns out that she may not be able to become a real werewolf in the future except to show off her little claws. Under Wednesday's comfort, Enid cried sadly. Seeing her crying, Wednesday thought of herself as a child. It was when she was 6 years old. She took her scorpion out for a walk and ended up meeting some people who thought she was a freak. They rode their bikes directly and crushed her scorpion to death. She buried the scorpion and vowed not to cry again. Afterwards, Wednesday asks Enid to teach her how to use the computer. She sends that hand to contact Taylor, whom she met at the cafe. They agreed that Taylor would take her to the train station for the weekend of the town's Harvest Festival. Soon the Harvest Festival arrives. After saying goodbye to her roommates, Wednesday sticks a giant panda doll in her hand and gives it to the principal, who is watching her. Just as the principal turned his head, she managed to meet up with Taylor. Taylor handed over the old files of Wednesday's father. Just as the two were about to escape, they ran into the 3 people they had met at the cafe and had to run in the other direction. On the way, Wednesday accidentally bumped into Rowan. The moment they came into contact, she had another fantasy. This time she met Rowan's death. Wednesday went after him to warn him, but to her surprise, Rowan used his power to hold her in a tree. And he was the one who did the stone ghost before. It turns out that Rowan saw an old painting of her mother 25 years ago. Her mother was a powerful prophet. She had said that if the girl in the painting came to the college, must stop her. And Wednesday looked a lot like this girl. Just as Rowan was about to kill her, a monster slit him open. Wednesday returned to the academy with the painting. At night, she talked to her parents through the crystal ball. It seems that, as her mother said, after all these things, Wednesday began to have an interest in the academy.